I think that's one of the biggest poisons to an entrepreneur is getting stuck in the doldrums of the mindset of I'm never going to make it. But you got businesses that have been in business 5-10 years and they're still struggling. So it's just having that vision and be able to shoot for that goal.
I got laid off from a job I very much liked. I decided I never wanted to go through that route again.
Something we hear a lot from guys who have started trades companies is, I got laid off, or I hated my job, but I wanted to be my own boss. And this really allowed me that opportunity. And then being able to walk away at the end of the day tired, but also very satisfied from a job well done.
Entrepreneurs are the C students because they're always trying to figure out a better way to do something that's less work, if you will. Yeah. But all you're doing really is creating better and more efficient processes and stuff.
You never want to be the smartest person in the room. You're not growing. Anytime you feel like you're the smartest person in the room, something's wrong.
Yeah. Gentlemen, welcome to Dallas.
Appreciate you having us.
Welcome to Field Pulse.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I'm sitting here with Jeff Marinelli and Cristian Droescher, co-founders of ClearPay Financial.
Yes.
Good to have you guys here.
Yeah.
You've been partners of ours for about a year now, and we're long overdue for a great chat and conversation like this. I want to give all of our audience members a chance to learn about you guys, learn about the great services you provide, and just share your amazing wealth of knowledge. Because although you're young, you're very accomplished and you're very smart in terms of knowing the payment process industry and how to help home service businesses in that field save money, optimize their operations like Field Pulse. And together, I think we have a really great solution. So on that note, tell us about a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah. So Cristian and I have been best friends since we were like 6. We both have backgrounds in entrepreneurship. We've been kind of entrepreneurs for the past decade. Individually came into ClearPay together, and we've loved working together. And love trying to figure out how we can, like you said, optimize businesses, help them run more efficiently, especially by being able to utilize tools like Field Pulse, to offer our clients and integrate into the back end of it and just kind of give them that full package.
Mm-hmm, that edge in their industry, really making sure, fine tuning their back end operations. So we've been, ClearPay's been around for coming up on 3 years now.
Right on.
Still newer, but yeah, we've loved working with you guys so far.
But ClearPay's been around for 3 years now, but this isn't your first rodeo in terms of new companies and entrepreneurship. So tell us a bit about your background in sort of starting companies, building companies, and understanding the role of a small business owner.
Yeah. So I started out in the coatings industry. So I started a coatings manufacturing company about 8 years ago. So basically epoxies, polyspartics, urethanes, anything that makes concrete look pretty, we make it and ship it all over the US to contractors. This was kind of started out as an add-on to that to help, service our customers better. And then it's just kind of grown from there as we've continued to scale it. And then I'll let Jeff comment.
Yeah. And then, I started probably 8 or 9 years ago also in the home services industry. I had a home improvement company, for about 5 years. We started off just fixing anything and everything that people would send us. And then, by the end of it, we were a Class A builder. Could build anything from the ground up and really hyper focused on bathrooms and kitchens. So we did big structural work, took those old 80s, 90s homes that had been divided up into a bunch of rooms and took the open concept that is a big deal now and started taking down walls, structural beams, make people's living spaces a lot larger. So we both kind of have a heart for the home improvement and the service industry, trades in general.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely bled into what we've done with ClearPay.
Yeah, it seems like your roots in the home services and the trades go pretty deep. I guess what got you into those in the first place?
I just enjoy it personally. I think I like being able to work on something and then see the fruit of your labor and see like what you actually did. Mm-hmm. It's very exciting. Every single day is something different. So that's really fun. But I love the people in the industry, really. I mean, everybody in the trades, everybody in the service industry, really good people to work with. Mm-hmm. You have those couple people that give the whole industry a bad name from time to time. But for the most part, there's a lot of really good people in the industry that are fun to work with. So
that's awesome.
That was a big draw for me, at least.
Yeah. And it's a very broad industry. So, us jumping in, it's there's a lot of different angles we can hit it from to help service those clients better, make their day-to-day operations smoother. And then Field Pulse does, a phenomenal job of hitting multiple industries. So that partnership's been, phenomenal for us to come alongside with y'all. Yep. And I would say jumping in for me, 8-9 years ago was, honestly speaking, I just kind of, wanted to do something on my own. I started out in the construction. Prior to that, everything from roofing, siding, windows, gutters. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff over the years, and really just wanted to, do something on my own. I personally speaking got laid off from a job I very much liked. Nothing due to me, but more so some changes within the company on the ownership side. They brought in some more corporate side of things and took away in-house build outs. And so, which eliminated my role. And I decided I never wanted to go through that route again. And so, went down the route of opening up my own company, and it's, never looked back since.
Yeah. Not relying on someone else for employment.
That's not a dissimilar story to something we hear a lot from guys who have started trades companies is, I got laid off, or I hated my job, but I wanted to be my own boss. And this really allowed me that opportunity to not only create my own destiny, but do it in a way where, you get that instant gratification and satisfaction of working with your hands, seeing a happy customer, supporting them with something that they direly need in their home or their business, whatever it might be. And then being able to walk away at the end of the day tired, but also very satisfied from a job well done.
Yeah.
Now that you're in sort of the payments world, I mean, you still have your ties to the trades, but now you're working in the payments world, and that's obviously pretty different in that sense. So where did that love or that attraction to the payments industry come from?
Again, like I said, it partners very well with my original company, which is Coatings, and just being able to come in and fine tune, help their day-to-day operations go smoother, which then in turn helps them grow, right? So coming alongside of them, helping them grow even further. And then like we said, our background in the construction industry has really pushed us. It's our true love at heart. So, we've stayed and focused on that industry. 90+% of what we do is in the service industry. So
yeah, I think our being in the service industry, I think our heart is, or at least we enjoy building things, period. Whether that's a company or whether that's a home improvement project or something like that. And so I think the thing that attracted me to payments and what we do now is we can help other business owners in turn kind of build their businesses, because a lot of, especially in the service and trades, as you would know, these guys, they're really, really, really good at what they do. Which is a lot of times why they go out and try to start their own, want to start their own business. But maybe they're not as in tune with the tools and the efficiencies that are out there and available to them to help get that business to the next level.
Yeah.
So I think coming from that industry and having the heart for it and everything like that, and then seeing the gap where you have these guys that are super skilled individuals, they love what they do, they would stamp their name on it, but how can we, coming from that, know how to help them get to that next level? And payments kind of led into that. And then Field Pulse has been an invaluable tool because we've been able to say, okay, well, payments is a great value add. You want to be able to do that efficiently for your business, but here's a tool that we're incorporated into that'll really help your business grow and work a lot more efficiently. And I think that's where that tie is. And selfishly, the ability to not just have to work on site. We can work remotely from our laptops. It's a little bit better than swinging hammers, but yeah.
Because payments is the glue that holds companies together. It's the most important fundamental part of a business is being able to accept payments, being able to process payments, and being able to do so in a way that you can track those payments. And obviously that's where Field Pulse and QuickBooks and solutions like that comes into play. But it's an area of the business that most entrepreneurs either don't think of, or if they think about it, there's so much to know that they don't know enough to know, to be dangerous, or to know really what is the best way to evaluate working with a payment processing company, or how to, structure their business in a way to ensure that the cash flow remains strong and they're able to accept those payments, get them in and out of the business in a way. So Field Pulse is that, for operations and for sales and marketing, but you guys are the key element that we lack and that our customers probably lack a lot of knowledge of. So with that, what are some key things to know about in the payments industry? So you have your card present payments, you have your ACH payments, you have card not present. So tell us a bit about sort of those different areas that a business owner might not know a lot about, but what are the key terms that they should know at sort of a basic 101 level?
Yeah. Back up to what you said about cash flow and stuff. That's one of the biggest things that we run into when we talk to businesses, and a lot of times when they're plugged into other softwares that aren't Field Pulse, that don't allow integrations with individuals like us. They're stuck with, a lot of times, Stripe has a monopoly in this industry.
And everybody knows, but
exactly. So cash flow is such a big deal because with poor funding times, a lot of these guys, especially when they're getting started, they're kind of they need those deposits to pay for materials and pay for
100%.
labor and everything to get their job started. So next day deposits is a big deal.
Mhm.
All of our card payments are next day deposit.
And that's where you take a credit card payment and then you're getting that money the next day as opposed to having to
Exactly.
wait a bunch of time.
Up to 7 p.m. So you can take the payment up to 7 p.m. the day before, and it's in your bank account when you wake up in the morning.
And that varies on time zone to time zone, but you're gonna you look at Stripe, and they're gonna be minimum of 3 days, but it can be drug out much longer than that, 5-7 days plus.
Yeah.
And then you look at ACH on average for us is we shoot for about 3 days. That varies a little bit depending on the bank and their funding, since there's no middle bank. So if with credit card processing, you have a few different banks involved. You have the customer's bank, you have the funding bank, which is what we bring in, and then you have your personal bank account. So every time you swipe that card, you invoice however you're taking that payment, right? There's a signal sent directly to that customer's bank, double checking they have the cash. And then the funding bank, which is where we come in, funds that to you, the contractor, and that's how you get that money next day. And then the funding bank collects that later on. While with Stripe, they come in and they hold that money for 3+ days. Now with ACH, you don't have that middle bank. That you have your bank and you have your customer's bank. So there's no middle funding bank. So it's a little bit more reliant on the customer's bank and how quick they release that money. But we shoot for about 3 days on ACH. Stripe's going to be anywhere from best case scenario 5 days, and then worst case scenario usually looking about 2 weeks. So that can put a contractor in a real predicament over time when they're taking that 50% down payment and they have to wait a week or more to get that money, so they can't go buy their materials they need to do that job. And when you're starting off, that can be make it or break it for a lot of companies.
Yeah, a business owner can't go to their supplier and be like, yo, I'll pay you next week because I didn't get my check from this last job I did, or the bank's holding my money on this $10,000 job I just did, and I got to use that to pay my staff and my overhead and my resources and my supplier, you guys. So
yeah, and I think PCI compliance is a big deal too, because when you're plugged into a software like Field Pulse, then you have that level of payment card industry compliance and security, which helps rates and fees and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, funding's a huge deal in the service industry.
Our relationship with our payment processing partners allows us to be PCI compliant. It allows us to then make it easy for our card companies and payment processing companies like you guys to plug in with our system, so that when a customer joins Field Pulse, the next day they have their payment set up and they're able to accept payments. And that means whether you're an established business owner or just starting your first company, that money is going to be hitting your bank account the next day, and you don't have to worry about cash flow or, the burden of covering or bridging the gap, so to speak, in terms of your expenses and your income.
Yeah. And that's not even taking into account the time you save from driving around as a contractor background. The amount of time I've spent in my truck trying to pick up checks that people would leave under the mat or in their mailbox, or maybe they forgot to leave it. I just drove 30 minutes to get it, whatever. Having the capability and the access through Field Pulse to be able to invoice immediately, have that ACH and card option immediately for your customer, and not worry about taking a week to get the money.
Yeah. I mean, checks is a great example too. I mean, you can get a week hold placed on a check. It happens all the time.
10 business days. That's 2 weeks.
Yeah. So you're sitting there waiting on that money for the check. Yes, you're not paying, a credit card processing fee. So there is that in there, but we have ways of eliminating those fees too. So there's a lot of different avenues we can come in to help get that money quicker, save money on the fees, and, keep your jobs moving on a timely manner.
So it sounds like, we all think of payments and accepting payments as just this digital thing, this numbers moving around on a spreadsheet or in a computer somewhere, not really being a human element. But from what I'm hearing, it sounds like there is a lot more of like a relationship element to your relationship, a business owner's relationship with their payment processing partner, and also your relationship with, the banks and just more so your customers in terms of their customers. So tell us a little bit about that relationship element in terms of, how close should a company be with their payment processing provider? Is it, Stripe is a behemoth of a company. I don't know what kind of account management or stuff they have there, but you guys are people that they can pick up the phone and call any day and invite over for a barbecue. Is that human element really important in a working relationship for a business owner?
Yeah, it changes a lot of factors, and you don't think about that. Stripe's very, very easy and quick to get set up with. Sure, and everybody knows their name, but at the end of the day, Stripe's going to go through, they're going to set you up, but they put you through for, usually speaking, it can either be monthly, depending on the industry. you're in, you have a different MCC code for every single industry, whether you're roofing, gutters, painting, whatever that might be, plumbing, HVAC, whatever that might be, you're going to come and have a different MCC code. And that MCC code, if you're not in the coatings or not in the payments industry, that's what your risk is. And so the bank looks at you according to that MCC code and is going to judge, how much of a liability you are. So you get up and going and you don't have a relationship with the company, like let's say Stripe or whoever else it might be out there. You're going to go through a round of revisions and you might get flagged. Your money could be held for 90 days. You could get turned off completely. I mean, we hear it happen all the time. And now that money's held in, let's say, a 90-day account. You're not seeing that. So let's say you took a 50% down payment on a job and you're planning on that money coming in, best case scenario, 3 days later, and now it comes in 90 days later. That can put a company out of business.
100%.
So when we come in and get you set up, we're going to make sure and get the proper documentation to not get you red flagged, to get you set up, to protect you so you stay live and your money stays flowing for you.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of that due diligence up front, protecting you from issues down the road. So
it's
a much more relationship based versus a number. You can call and sit on hold and listen to a lot of elevator music with Stripe.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, their review team that's going to be final. It is what it is. You're not going to be able to change any of that. You know, that's why we come in and get all that documentation up front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about cash flow issues.
Yeah.
Holding your money for 90 days. Yeah. Wait, so the key is really just flip flopping the relationship. Having, a lot of those big companies, they'll have a relationship with you maybe once you hit a certain point or your certain volume or whatever. We do all the relationship up front so that if your account goes into review or we have to look at it, we already know you, we've already done the documentation we need to get, or we've already gotten the documentation we need to get to be able to vouch for your business and make sure that you don't get shut off in the middle of your operations. That's a huge deal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nothing more critical for a business than making sure the cash is coming in and going out the right way and the right timing and not hitting any snags, which will just is probably the most stress a business owner can experience is just knowing that, cash is missing or not coming in or delayed or you don't have the money to pay your bills.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I mean, you guys are obviously both really, really sharp. You're both entrepreneurs, a few times over. Where did you get your entrepreneurial mindset? Was it something you inherited from your parents? Was it something that you sort of built on your own? Where does that drive come from?
I say it came from me over time. Before I started my own company, like I said, we did a lot of in-house construction work. I ran a bunch of build outs for a big real estate firm back in Nebraska. And with that being said, it was very hands off. I got to, run everything, basically run, every single job site. And so I kind of got a taste of running my own company at a very young age. And I loved it. It wasn't mine, but it was treated as closely to mine as possible. And so it gave me that taste early on and I wanted more of it. And it is truly a lot of fun to build something and make it your own, where you can put your stamp on it, I did this. I earned it. Nobody can take it from me.
Yep.
So it's a journey for sure. And it evolves and it changes. You can have one plan and a year later, that plan, there's definitely going to be some turns on the road, but it's that journey is a lot of fun. So,
I mean, Jeff, you're a new dad. You've gone through the ups and downs of not only bringing a new business into this world, but now a new child into this world.
Yeah.
That balancing act is, a very difficult thing to achieve.
Yeah.
And what keeps you going, when you're thinking about getting up in the day after a rough night with the kids?
Man, I think just knowing, again, going back to that love for building something, having the end goal and being able to see the vision and think 5 to 10 steps ahead, on where you actually want to be versus where you are now. It can be, I think that's one of the biggest poisons to an entrepreneur is the getting stuck in the doldrums of the mindset of, I've been working at this nowadays that everybody wants to have everything yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I've been stuck at this for a month. I'm never going to make it, but you got businesses that have been in business 5-10 years and are still struggling. So it's just having that vision and be able to shoot for that goal. But I think entrepreneurship at the end of the day is just about asking questions and solving problems more than anything. And I think that's where that came from. I always wanted to figure out I don't know if you ever heard like entrepreneurs or the C students because they're always trying to figure out a better way to do something that's less work, if you will.
Yeah.
And but no, that was always me trying to figure out a better way to do it, or a cheat way to do it, an easy way to do it. But all you're doing really is creating better and more efficient processes and stuff to grow your business. But yeah, I mean, having that mindset of being able to build something from where you're at now to where you want to be is that's definitely what keeps me going.
Yeah.
And as you and I now know about having young kids, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're playing the long game. And I guess as an entrepreneur, it's probably important to keep that mindset in terms of like, we have successes and failures each day, but it's all about working towards that end goal of having a happy, healthy family, having a happy, healthy business.
Yeah.
So speaking about the obstacles and the roadblocks that we face on a daily basis, whether as a parent or an entrepreneur, what are some of the ones that you've sort of recognized, overcome, or lessons that you've learned from, significant, I guess, hiccups or tribulations in your entrepreneurial journey?
I would say the biggest obstacle really in any company is fine tuning what your specific area is. So we focus a lot in the construction industry, but a lot of companies will come out and they're cast too broad of a net and they don't do really any one thing well. So finding that area you want to excel in and focusing on it. Any company, if you can sell things all day long, but at the end of the day, if you're not giving a good product, people are going to realize you sold them something that's crap, right?
Yeah.
So create a good product for them and it'll sell itself. So.
And then, of course, customer support.
Oh, huge.
Oh, yeah. Massive.
Goes back into the whole relationship side of things. I mean, again, our customers, they're not a number to us. We know our customers by name, whether it's us or, our team handling it. Everybody, your worst case scenario, you're going to get a phone call back in, 30 minutes. Right. But we're going to be on it. We're going to have you an answer versus sitting there. All right, well, please wait 24 to 48 hours to get a response. That's not an answer we give.
Yeah.
Right. And if there is something, it's going to take a little bit more work. We'll put it on that roadmap. We'll give them the solution, the timeline of how long it's going to take. We can't promise everything's going to be fixed in 5 minutes, but we can explain to you what that issue is and how to solve it. And this is what it's going to take to solve it.
Yeah. I mean, as a customer, I could tell you there's nothing more encouraging or nice to feel from a company than just knowing that they're hearing your concerns and they're able to address your concerns. Like you said, it may not be immediate and we all wish things could happen immediately, but just being able to pick up the phone, reach the person that you're reaching for, to tell them your problem, and then know that somebody else is out there working on that problem with you to find a solution as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurs are busy enough in their own day to day. So having you guys or having somebody in their corner to back them up with very important and critical aspects of their business is a huge reassurance that I know a lot of our customers and mutual customers appreciate. And on the element of customer support, I think you said it about like build a great product, but then having that customer support and that customer service element just makes it what keeps customers happy, because anybody can sign up for a service, but it's what keeps customers coming back and what keeps customers long-term is knowing that they have a great product with great support. And I think that's something that Field Pulse is always focused on is we want to build a great platform, but we know that everybody's different. Everybody's operations and business is different. So the way we support and communicate with those customers is half the battle, and it's being there for them, available to them, and making sure that we, hear them first and foremost, but then can come back with a solution quickly and nimbly and with that human element, because we understand and know those customers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think I use that a ton in my first company, my home improvement company, is, people would ask like, well, the burning question, well, why should I use you over somebody else?
Yeah.
And, it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what company you go with, you're going to run into obstacles, right? Doesn't matter. It really matters
there's no perfect
who takes responsibility for it and who fixes it, who actually cares. And I think that's a big thing. We tell our guys, like, even bad news is still news. Like if communication, letting our clients know, if there is an issue and we need to take some extra time to do some, deep dive into why that may be happening, to fix it, versus just not calling them back and wait until we have an answer. And maybe it's 2 or 3 days. They're not going to feel like they're heard. But yeah.
Well, I mean, contractors don't have time to, they have such limited amount of time. Their job sites change on a day-to-day basis. I mean, every contractor knows that. So, when they have let's say an issue arrive, whatever it might be with their payments, with their FSM, whatever that might be, knowing that you have a team backing you so that you don't have to figure it out on your own and then wait 48 hours or 24 hours or whatever it might be, that's huge. So, being able to eliminate some of that stress and they don't have to become the experts. Then they let us do our jobs. Let us be the experts. You do what you do best and let us give you those tools to, take it to the next level.
So ClearPay has grown, really successfully over the past 3 years. It's a young company, but you guys have been able to find a lot of great customers in that time. And we've together been able to, service those mutual customers really well over the last year that we've been working together. How much of that is networking for you guys versus, traditional sales and marketing? And what would you say the impact of your network has had on your business?
Yeah, I think a ton of it's networking. And I think it really goes back to that whole like hyper focusing on your niche. A lot of people think, especially entrepreneurs think like, well, I'll just do all of this stuff and then I'll be, I'll grow because I'll have more clients or I'll have more of this, more of that. But the more you actually hyper focus on that niche and what you're good at and what you enjoy, really, the better you'll grow. So, I think when it comes to networking, us kind of fine tuning that group of people that we network to or network with, people that either have the ear of the clients that we're looking for or are specifically fit into that box that, that we're trying to check when it comes to our clients, whether it be volume or the type of industry it is. And then pair that with good customer service and taking care of them. And, before you know it, they're telling people that are in the same industry and do the same amount of volume. And, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you go.
Yep.
So I think, networking is integral to any business. You got to be talking to people. You got to be talking to people. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Yeah. You gotta work with people who are doing way better than you and, are talking to the people you want to talk to ultimately get to where you want to go.
Do you guys have mentors in the industry, either in the trade side or the payment processing side that you've had the opportunity to lean on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%. You definitely got to surround yourself with people that have maybe not done exactly what you're doing, but, have gone down that path, you can lean on in a time of need, I guess, for advice. And as Jeff said, having, you never want to be the smartest person in the room. You're not growing. Anytime you feel like you're the smartest person in the room, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely not the smartest person, so I'm doing something wrong then. So, helping, everybody needs that reality check. So having somebody that will tell you the truth and you can honestly, run something by them to help you take it to the next step. So.
Yeah. And I think those mentors too. People get this preconceived notion, you built a 10, 20, $30 million company, wow, you got lucky or you met the right people or whatever, but you talk to those people who are doing much better than you. And it's just, failing forward is what they've done. They've failed, fixed it, figured it out, move on, failed, fixed it, figured it out. And so, that's why it's a good thing to share with mentors and people who are ahead of you, your failures and, hey, I'm really struggling with trying to work around this. I'm not really sure the right way to approach it, whatever it may be, but having people who have failed before and can help you avoid a lot of those big failures that'll actually set you back, is invaluable. So,
And how much of it is not being afraid to ask? Because I think a lot of us, we know, I really would love to get, some advice from this person, but they feel a little bit apprehensive about making that request. Do you guys feel like you go out on that limb a lot of times, either when you're chasing a new client or, looking to overcome an obstacle? Do you reach out to that network for support? And, is it, do you have a trick for overcoming that initial fear?
No, I think that's the whole issue with a lot of entrepreneurs. They want to like put this facade on that, everything's going great and they're just growing and they're just gathering all these clients and everything like that. But you have to lean on people. If you're not vulnerable and say, hey, I'm having these issues, I need to come up with a better solution. It's a lot harder to grow because you're not getting the answers you actually need. And just trying to figure it out yourself never works super well, especially if you're first time entrepreneur.
Google only can do so much for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
It goes back into everything we were talking about earlier is, there's a ton of companies that are very, very good at what they do. And that's why we come in, because you shouldn't have to be the expert on how to take payment. We should be able to help you with that. So it goes back into growing your business. You should be able to find somebody who's gone down either a similar path and, lean on them for advice. Say, hey, listen, I'm at a, crossroads here. What's your advice? And you don't always have to go down the road they say, but it's good to get that check.
Yeah. All this talk of advice is a great segue to my last question. Whether you're a starting entrepreneur or an established company, what are the 3 things that these companies and these entrepreneurs should look for in their payment processing company? And are they the same or are they different for those 2 groups?
No, I mean, I think it's everything that we've been talking about so far. I think it's relationship banking. When it comes down to it, you want somebody you can call. You want somebody, if you have an issue with your business and you need money, because I can speak for everybody. Every business needs money. You need somebody that you can call that's not at the end of a 1-800 number most of the time. I would say that. I would say funding times are huge. Again, going back to the the whole cash flow thing and growing your business and everything. That's important that you're getting your funds on time.
Yep.
What else? What's the
customer service? Just jumping back into customer service, I'd say. I mean, that's going to be really, really big, because at the end of the day, being able to have the relationship side to get you set up right, but then the customer service is what gets you there. So, I mean, companies like Stripe at the end of the day, or whoever it might be, I know we talked about Stripe quite a bit, but coming in and getting you set up right goes into that customer service side. We're taking the extra step to get it done right, and to make sure there's no hiccups going down the road. We can't promise everything's going to be perfect, because we're all human. People make mistakes. Yeah. But at the end of the day, trying to eliminate all those up front, and then, picking up the phone when there's a question, okay, well, I'm looking for a $10,000 deposit. That's a big deal to a lot of contractors. So do you if you can't get an answer for 24, 48 hours, it's in the back of your mind driving you crazy for 24, 48 hours, right? So being able to, shoot an email, make a phone call, get an answer in, real time is huge.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And we've loved the partnership with FieldPulse. You guys have been fantastic. I would say that's another thing that people can look for is their payments integrated to make their businesses run smoother, more efficiently. FieldPulse is really good at that. From what we've seen with our clients, you guys are putting as many tools in a contractor's tool belt, if you will.
Yep.
Automation, everything inside or under one roof, which is a big deal. And us being able to be a part of that, has added a ton of value to our clients.
Yeah. I mean, as head of partnerships, I'm always looking for ways to add value to the FieldPulse platform. And I know we can never do it all ourselves. So for me, that's always why going out and finding partnerships with you guys or USA Partner Network or any of our, great partners that we support on the software side, or just as a value add to our customers, is always top of mind for me, because I think value adds is an area of business that is often overlooked. And whether you are as a contractor and a small business owner are offering value adds, or the companies you're working with are offering value adds, I find that's a really distinguishing factor for a lot of people to make a choice on who to do business with and for how long, and the value that they see from that product or that service over the course of that relationship. So I know, having worked with you guys for over a year, that you provide that value added service in the great customer support and that personal touch that you provide to your customers. And then, of course, through our partnership, the great sort of connection that we have to have a holistic solution for contractors, small business owners, plumbers, electricians, anybody and everybody who supports the residents of our cities, of our nations, and who are really building this company on this nation, every single day when they're out there in the field.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I think that's always a goal of ours when we're talking to clients, is how can we provide value? The last thing we want to do is sell on cheap payment processing. We'll save you money, which we will at the end of the day, but let's talk about that last. Let's figure out where that value is that your business is missing that we can, fill in. And the partnership with FieldPulse has done just that.
Yeah. So. Well, it's been great with you guys. I look forward to a continued collaborations. Yeah. And I certainly know our customers are loving what you guys are doing for them. So
excellent. Thanks for having us out.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Likewise.